Hello, 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 everybody. Hello. Welcome to year 6 of Black Trans Women at the Center. I am Lady Dane Figueroa Edidi. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am the curator and associate producer of Black Trans Women at the Center. We are so excited today to actually be chatting with our year 6 cohort. Our sixth member of the year 6 cohort, Zarina Crockett, is on the go, honey, and she's going to try to join when she can. She's going to try to jump in. It's double Dutch when she can. But tonight we do have our incredible playwrights with us in the building. Miss Kineen Mafa, um, Mercedes Loving-Manley, Grant Evan, Garnet Williams, and also, did I go through everybody? Ibimina, Dominique, Thompson. That's our 5 playwrights. So everybody, it has been such an incredible journey this year. The thing that makes this year different is that this year is radio plays, actually. And Zarina, being our sound designer, is the 6th member of the cohort, and she did the sound design for all of the plays. Baby, and we was going back and forth like, girl, do this one, do this one, do this one. And I'm really excited for what everyone has written and what everyone has done. So, you know what? Without further ado, I'm going to call to the stage my little sister and a year 4 cohort member, Eva Rain. Eva Rain is a Peabody and GLAAD Award winning actress, writer, and filmmaker from St. Louis, Missouri. She is the star of Billy Porter's directorial debut, Anything is Possible, from Amazon MGM Studios and Killer Films. Her writing has appeared in Vogue, Vice, Them, The Cut, Birdie, Paper, and High Snobbity. Please, everybody, welcome to the stage our facilitator for today, my sister, Eva Rain. Hey, sis.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really good. If there is a lag, you all can just be mad at Apple. When you have a product more than a couple years, it decides to break down on you. But I am so excited to talk to everyone today. These plays are so visceral, so vivid, so colorful. I had so much fun reading them and obviously listening earlier today. Yeah, I'm excited.
Well, we are so excited to have you back. Thank you so much for your incredible contribution to year 4, being a part of that cohort and your amazing play. And also for your contribution tonight, girl. You are a journalist, honey, award-winning journalist. And I'm really excited to have you in the building. You are also working on a new short film. Now, before I turn it over to the cohort, would you want to talk a little bit about that really quickly?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm working on my first narrative short that I am directing and writing. I've done a lot of documentary work in the past, obviously a lot of acting. But this is a moment where I get to kind of put all these skills that I've gained over the years into just one project. Yeah, it is a romantic drama with a little bit of like a thriller edge to it. I'm really excited to work on it. We're shooting later this summer out in New York. I'm currently in LA, where I guess I have Wi-Fi issues, but yeah, I'm so excited. Thank you for mentioning that project.
Well, I am deeply grateful to the universe that we are alive. So Wi-Fi issues or not, honey, whether Mercury is in Miss Retrograde or not,
Okay.
honey, we gonna do what the dolls do, right? And that is do what the dolls do, which is make magic. So I
Period.
want to welcome to the stage our year 6 playwright cohort, Miss Kineen Mafa, Ibimina Dominique Thompson, Mercedes Loving-Manley, Grant Evan. And also, y'all, for our sister, I forgot to say this in my little intro. Miss Garnet Williams, y'all, who made her Broadway debut in Cats, baby. She was on a Tony. She was on Good Morning America. So, all right, y'all, have a good conversation. I'm gonna go ahead backstage. Do what y'all do. Be brilliant.
Okay. Hi, hello, everyone. Okay, how is everyone feeling? Yeah, okay. I want to start things off with Miss Grant Evan.
Hi. Hey, Eva.
Hey, how do you feel, girl?
I feel great. This is Pride season, and we are out here. We are out here doing our things and making moves and staying booked and busy. So
Period.
that's all you can ask for.
Yes, yes. Okay, so you are the writer of Jacob Have I Loved.
Yes.
I really, really loved your writing. I loved your attention to detail. Um, and one thing that I thought was really interesting was that your play takes place at the kitchen table.
Mm.
What was it that made you want to focus on such an intimate setting?
Um. So when I was a kid, my mother and I were communicators. I had a very, very excellent Black mother. But one unusual thing about her was we did not have serious conversations anywhere other than over food. I knew I
Mhm.
was in trouble because we would go to Red Lobster and share cheddar bay biscuits and split a seaside shrimp trio. And I knew that we were about to have a serious conversation because I got an adult meal, so I was about to get an adult talking to. Um, Most of my very serious conversations happened over food and over tables. And so for me, it was a natural extension to place a family argument over food because where else are you going to have it?
Mhm. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Okay. So that makes a lot of sense because yeah, you're tackling all of these very heavy themes. So I'm okay, so I guess my follow-up to that is like as you're writing this and you're tackling death, grief, sexual violence, how did it feel to step in to such a dangerous dangerous place with your writing? Like, how did you do that and you still protected your spirit?
um, so growing up in church, and I don't know how many other of the panelists have also grown up in church, but I am the daughter of a pastor, my mother, as well as a family that literally owned a church and built it from the ground up. I helped churches write 501c3s. The idea of protecting your spirit while doing deep work, uh, it's almost like a natural extension because there's a way to try to navigate, if you will, the realities of truth while also compartmentalizing your feelings. In this particular case, writing this was super cathartic for me because, in many ways, these are the conversations that I think um, most of us have with our parents when you're growing up, when you are becoming an adult, and you're dealing with another adult person who doesn't necessarily see your autonomy. There's no other way but starkly to deal with it. And in this case, I protected myself by mostly remembering that my mother loves me. And then at the end of the day, I could always call her and say, even if you didn't say these things, I felt these things. Um, and how does that make you feel? That here we are together, we got on the other side of it. And knowing that there could be catharsis for me through that communication, that helped me really protect myself in the end.
I love that. I love that. How does it feel to have heard the play now?
I spent the entire time crying, so I hope my makeup isn't cracked. But literally, I it's a beautiful thing, and it's strange and wonderful to see other people breathe life and thought and intention into people who lived in your head.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mercedes Loving-Manley, you also focused on the home in your play, Aunt Nels. I truly loved the way that you brought the sounds and the colors of Boston into your play. What does it feel like to paint such a vivid portrait of your hometown or your place of becoming?
Thank you so much, Eva. For me, it means a lot because Boston is changing so rapidly, as are a lot of major cities across the country. My neighborhood in particular is changing drastically. I grew up in Dorchester, and the Codman Square neighborhood is in Dorchester, and it's changing, right? Like it's just changing. As we speak, Mayor Wu is like or has proposed budget cuts to things like housing and nutritional services for folks around the way, for LGBTQ plus folks, and city council just kind of closed on like a alternative to that, but after, you know, because there were protests and organizing and advocacy trying to get them to not cut the budgets. But all that to say, Boston is changing so rapidly. So being able to kind of set us in a moment in time of good old Boston as I remember it, and build a world inspired and informed by that and the sounds of that, and trying to like paint visual pictures has been beautiful and humbling.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. And your play has such a strong focus on love, whether it's love of the family, heartbreak, intimacy, romance. What was it that made you make love the central focus of your play, Aunt Nels?
I think it's interesting. I feel like love is a common thread throughout a lot of my work, like not intentionally though. I think it just becomes that. For me, I wanted to really paint a picture of what this relationship was like between this aunt and her niece, her trans niece who has an estranged relationship with her mother. And I think through that, we learn a lot about love, right? I think also, generally speaking, I like to explore with um, the limits of love as we know it in mainstream media. What are the limits of it romantically, platonically, in family structures? As the girls, you know, love is a very nuanced experience, romantically and platonically, and even with family. Love is a language that you have to really, really unlearn and then learn over and over again. So I really wanted to show the different overlaps and nuances of that. And that's why it includes romantic, platonic, it includes the family connection and kind of like that maternal theme, even though her biological mother isn't present in the play.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and I guess jumping back to Garnet, this is a question for both you and Mercedes. Both of you wrote plays that are so drastically different, but I love that both both of these works center a young Black trans woman talking to a family member, one who is very fierce, very, very determined, maybe even dominant, whether that is Mercedes' character of Aunt Nell or Grant's character of Genevieve. For both of you, what did it feel like to develop those two characters?
Genevieve actually, in many ways, like actually she came easy to me, mostly because I think we all know a matriarch of a family whose tongue is sharp enough to cut. It's part of our lineage, right? That like if you don't have at least one blood grandmother who curses like a sailor, you have a you have a house mother, you have a maternal figure. There is some woman that you know who sedity as she wants to be, but filthy as she needs. And like, and so in many ways, like Genevieve it was easy to do because I know that woman. I've known her for a long time. The thing that makes it more difficult almost when you're writing is to make her still human enough, because we still love those women, right? Like women have those complexities and are allowed that. And making her still likable enough that you didn't want her to keel over and die while she was busy cutting you up is kind of what made it most difficult.
For me, I think, I don't know. I feel like, what challenges? I think the challenge kind of came from, just like personal reflection, because Cynthia's character is informed by some lived experience. So I think that was like my major challenge. But other than that, it was actually kind of liberating, because I was I was actively writing, kind of like writing the playbook on what I would tolerate in life at the point of me starting writing this, if that makes sense. So kind of like writing a reminder to myself and like an affirmation to myself and people like me, of what to tolerate, and again, like what love is, and how love feels.
Thank you. Thank you both so much. Garnet and Kineen. Okay, let's jump to both of y'all. You both wrote works that really talk about moments of devastation, discovery, and kind of these like world shattering, world ending, world beginning even events. Starting with Garnet, you are the playwright of A Crash in the Dark. What was it to like? What was your process like when crafting this work that I really feel like is the beginning of something larger?
I feel funny enough, it is the idea of the end of a full-length play for me. The way that I sort of write is once I start to hear a character talk to me, I just kind of let them yap. And so it all kind of runs out of me. And the thing that I always need help with is that I get very verbose. So I have to like edit. But yeah, I think so much of that moment in how, I think so much of the moment that I attempted to capture in the play felt similar to my life in that moment, not in the stakes and circumstances, but in really, really trying to focus on this moment, but also having a lot of things going on in my own life, as we all do, that where I was in such a gratefully very busy time while I was also trying to write this. So I was like, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you've been on Broadway, girl. You've been doing a lot of things. Been doing a lot of things. I love you so much. Yeah, I mean, also your play, it feels very prescient to this current moment in time. I loved the dialogue between these two characters. I felt a lot of you coming through, and I could really feel who these people were. What was it like to develop these two characters and find their rhythm?
I think one of the big things that defines these characters for me, Rowena is specifically the name of my great-great-grandmother. And it's just a name that I've always loved. But in that moment, I think any woman who has ever loved anybody knows what it is to love so deeply someone whose eyes are not fixed on you. I don't want to like throw up a parasol, but I know that I think a lot more than most. And so finding that rhythm of someone who's stuck in a moment that's also coming off a very, in my head, what I know about that full piece, what is already an elevated moment, and trying to find the words that she would or wouldn't choose. And Clarence, I think he's very much, or is that the name? I don't remember the name of the man I wrote.
Yes, it is.
There you go. But Clarence is so much of that like hyperfixation that I feel like any human being has when they're in a moment and you can't think higher, so to speak, but it's all viscera. It's like, what's the most important thing in this moment? And it is this character that we never hear speak. Like that's his whole focus because he's just gone through something very intense. And following the line of like, you don't have the high-minded ability in that moment to lead yourself by the nose, but it's all hands and grasping, which is why I also think he makes some of the choices that he does towards Rowena.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel that. There was so much tension between them, but you also could really, I mean, you could understand why. Yeah, I definitely felt that they were both like struggling to find common ground even in their like dialogue. I don't know, you captured something so real. And I just really loved reading it and I loved listening. So thank you. Kineen. Okay, your play, Nike's Mufala's True Air. I loved this so much. I loved the sound design. Shout out to Zarina. She really, really ate that. I have to ask you, like, are you going to develop this into a larger work? Like, what is your ultimate dream when it comes to this play?
Well, I think it would be more like a intersecting piece in like a multiverse of just a realm that I exist in celestially, like, cause for me, I channel, so and that's why sometimes I don't remember some of the language, some of the names, because it's like I write when I feel like a wave or a rush, like I channel, and sometimes I don't write it down. Most times I record it. So this was a different process for me because it challenged me to be more oral. I think a lot of our ancestors they pass down information through story. And so I'm more of a storyteller. I'm more oral. I am not like a practitioner of always writing things down. So this was something to help to push me more into that. I mean, I published a book, so I will write, but that's not my first way of communication. It's not always important to me to write. I do like to document, but not always necessarily write. So this was like I channel, and I do feel like in other things that I'm working on, I try to weave all of them together. So this definitely connects with other beings and spirits and energies that I feel like I've been channeling. And I could see, like, as I was channeling this piece, I saw how it connects with other beings that, that I've been working with, and other like primordial beings that, I connect with. So like, as I was seeing it, I was like, oh, this is all connecting. So yeah, it's definitely, it's going to continue. It's like a saga.
Yeah. Well, okay. You say that, you're telling us that it's a channel that you feel. What does that feel like when that wave hits you? Does it come at night? Does it come in the morning?
I fast a lot. So like it comes the most for me like when it's a clarity, like, my ears will ring. I'll get chills, I'll hear like a voice in my head, almost like I'll, like start to talk like the being that I'm channeling. Sometimes my eyes even roll to the back of my head, so, but and it was, and I did it originally. Lady Day will tell you I wasn't gonna do this piece. Like I really did another piece, because when I go there, normally people are weirded out by the stuff that comes out. And she was like, no, this is what we want. She's like, no.
Mm-hmm.
No, we have our Toni Morrisons already. No, we want you to do what you do.
Absolutely.
And so, I felt comfortable and protected and safe to, to channel that, to allow myself to feel those things. And I think everything, because I'm a very lucid dreamer, I'm a vivid dreamer. One of the reasons why it's hard for me to like have a 9 to 5 is because I be so exhausted from my dreams. I can't, like going to work a 9 to 5 after. I just feel like I feel like I didn't work the whole day after I wake up.
Ooh, yeah.
So like my dreams are that vivid. And so I'm actually in a dragon era where I am seeing dragons and connecting with dragons. And so Alicia is like I literally wake up and look at a dragon that I painted every day. And so, and this was before the play. So and I've been saying that I'm in my dragon era. So my Chinese zodiac, because I'm born in 1977, so my Chinese zodiac is a wooden snake, but snakes evolve to become dragons. Mm-hmm. And so I've said I was claiming it like before it happened. I was like, I'm in my dragon era. I feel like I'm going into my dragon era. I'm becoming my dragon. Okay. And so my partner, who passed in 2023, who I was married to, he was a dragon, and I painted a image of us together celestially. And I was a snake and he was a dragon. And, he visits me in my dreams. And so I feel like he's helping me to become my dragon, and so this was that connection. Like I am Alicia on the spirit plane. Like that's my celestial form. Like that's my primordial form. And so, that's why I was able to relate. But I'm also Nikes too. So like I realized like I'm in this space of these are all facets and extensions of me. And like, I'm really like in this phase of being able to see all of the mirrors of myself. So that's how I channel, is like being able to understand all of these extensions of things that are going on, you know, in my DNA or in my ancestral DNA, if you will.
Yes. Okay, well, girl, when this is a larger work, I mean, listen, I need the comic book.
I want to do comic books too. Like,
I mean, it is giving that. This is, I mean, this is something that I can see in multiple forms, and I'm really, really grateful that I got to read it before it even dropped. There were so many there were so many like Africana futurist themes. Speaking of Africana, Ibimina, Dominique Thompson, come onto the stage, girl. Come off mute. All right.
Hi.
Hey. Okay, so you wrote play Crockett. And Crockett, a play on perception and creation. I loved how you switched between this podcast landscape as well as a more traditional AB dialogue. And at the start, the podcast is called Bad African. What is it that makes someone a bad African? Is that you? Is that me?
I mean, it's both of us. That's the crazy thing, right?
Okay,
because so this is so funny because like my Instagram name is Bardist African, because like I write plays, so a bard, and like being trans or queer is considered a bad thing back home, so it's why not be the Bardist one there, And whenever people do American accents, they always would add like a rhotic R in between. So it would be like, oh yeah, I'm from America, I'm a bard, girl. It's like so many R's, you're like, what? So it was just kind of like that humor and Sagittarius vibe. I think a bad African is anything that goes against like the colonialist like idea of what it is to be African. And I think I center it on a lens of it specifically being on queerness and transness and Black queerness and transness and uniting Black people from across the diaspora, but then also personalizing it to then be like a Black trans woman in the US who happens to be from my tribe and all the like fun things. Cause I was like, I think writing what I know is special and cultivating new worlds from what's literally in front of me is like, I think Afrofuturist. Like, I'm like, I don't think I need to write about robots and like tentacles right now. I was like, I like Love Jones. I like podcasts. And like, I do go on some fun dates. So I was like, Taylor Swift made money off of it. And I was like, maybe mine could be funny too. And it was.
It really was.
It was also, I think, like the best thing I wanted about it is like, I don't know, I just started my transition in 2024 on my 24th birthday, which is December 6th. And I think for a while, a lot of people just kind of expected me to be like a Black trans woman. And I was like, hold on, the moans just got here. And like the play is kind of like helping me tackle this journey of like girlhood, what is transness supposed to look like, and I think one thing that I noticed, especially since moving to America, especially being a bad African, there were many times where a lot of people were kind of just like I was not their perception of what my identity should be. So they just gagged. Like, it was just like, okay, like work. I didn't know or peep that. And so, yeah, that answers it. Long story short.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense given the way that your character OG, the way that she is, like, you can really sense that she's finding herself throughout this work, throughout her chat with Kai. I did feel that Kai was maybe in a more like found or grounded place versus she was still searching. Okay. And I guess, okay, naming that, is that why she is like kind of clocking her tea at the start of the conversation? You know, like she's like talking about like Marsha P, and she's talking about voguing and all this stuff, like catching herself in that same breath. What was it like to find that kind of back and forth, to find that sort of, to like capture that mindset that she's in? What was your process like there?
So whenever I do plays, I kind of have to spend a lot of time listening and thinking. Sometimes it can be to my own detriment, Tiana.com. So I also spent a lot of time writing notes. Like, so originally Clockit was called "This is an AB conversation, see you later." And it was just a trans date. And then I remember I had shown Lady Dane Bad Africans, which is my other play, and she would talked about like the like podcast feature, and like, you know, we don't hear from like Black Gen Z writer voices enough, let alone then seeing trans Black Gen Z writer voices, and then like Africana of it all, right? And I think that like navigating it's like, for me also, I have a music background, so I spend a lot of time thinking about the rhythm of how a conversation should go. Sometimes during like plays, certain plays have certain albums, because I also DJ. So Bad Africans, I knew like had like a ghetto tech, Vogue, and like high life mix for its soundtrack. Clock It, I knew I loved Spike Lee, loved Jones, and I was like, I want to write about love because like I want to go on a good date. So hopefully like this is manifestation. And like I went on a cute one, but it was like, this isn't about that Scorpio. But it was just kind of like Clock It was then like I think Garnet, I'm laughing too, but Clock It, like I heard the piano, I was like, I would even I was like, imagine what if somebody like I'm watching a film and you can hear them eating from their plate and it's Black people laughing, because it's not necessarily like there's a difference in like hearing Black people laugh and like non-Black voices laugh in like a way that I think is so beautiful from all of our different cultures. And so it's just kind of like, I don't know, every time I go online I see people saying clock it wrong, and I was like, I don't want to like insult people on like reels or be too blunt as a Sag. So I was like, what could I do? I was like, I'm gonna get in the booth and write about this, and then also make it about trans history, and then make it fun too, because it could have easily sounded like a lecture. And so, especially with the clocking of the tea, the whole point, like I wanted to also get to the point. I didn't want people to have to like build up to like, when does it start to happen? I was like, no, I want y'all to jump in. It's like, if you catch it and you're like, wait, why are you surprised that he caught what you just said in a very clear way? And like, even just seeing her like not know how to like compartmentalize, I think. Like,
Right.
I wanted people to just kind of know who she was immediately. Even though she didn't know who she was, but there's a good understanding of who she is. Like, I think they're both in their 20s and that's efficient. I just think that like working on that piece, it was very much like I want to like ask about Black trans girlhood and is it right or not? Because every day there's a new tip online. There's a new way to like trans maxing and transvixing, and like this is how to get like the things. And I'm like, what if, hear me out, more books? Just thought. And so like I wanted to add to canon in a good way. I wanted the girls to have something fun to read, their own fun podcast to listen to, because I want a trans person to listen to this and be like, I didn't know about this. Maybe I can go Google it and have an opinion. You know, I think we're dealing with censorship every day. And I think the play on social media and how funny it is with podcast structure, we have too many cis men talking on mics. I'm like, you should be on front lines, but that's just me. And like, I wanted to give us the mic, because at the end of the day, like OG, that initial was named after both of my great grandfather, which is my grandmother's father, and my grandfather. So it stood for their names in Nigeria, and so I connected it and just called her OG, because then it's also the duality of like being the OG of your own story.
Absolutely.
You know, We talk about who's the OG of the gun salute, even though we know it's Kitten. You know what I mean? Like, shout out to Kitten, shout out to Cats. And, like, that's the tea of it. And, like, I just love brilliant, fun storytelling because at the end of the day, I was tired of seeing too many Black trans women narratives where it's like we were on dates, but it was, like, hard. I was like, no. Me and my homegirls are actually having fun lives too that I think should be documented. I think we're having like romantic dates. I think we're getting different flowers every day. Like literally just got me some peonies, like some pretty pink ones like right here. Like it's just that beautiful duality cuz like at the end of the day we all deserve something beautiful to read or listen to. And like, if there's a way I can also bring up the subjects that Audre Lorde or Bell Hooks talk about in their writing, which is one thing I love from Lady Dane is she pushes me to like get out of my head, just be like, no, girl, like you're smart, like this is, we get what you're saying. Like
Yeah.
I think that was one thing that I really wanted people to feel at home with, because also even for cis people, like I wanted them to also be able to be like, yeah, like oh yeah, like this is cool and this happens, and I love rom-coms. I never got to really be in that world enough when I was in undergrad studying acting. And so it's like being able to then create the work that I wanted to be in versus wait for the American theater to kind of put me in it.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of my goal. It was kind of the trick of it all. Cause then they also were like, so this dialect, I feel like you're the only one who knows how to do this dialect. You want to just hop in? And I was like, oh yeah, well yeah. Like funny enough, huh? Here I am once again. And I still think that representation matters because at the end of the day, I live in Minneapolis and there's trans African people looking and like gagging, or even black people who are black and trans too, like looking and like wanting to learn more about who they are. And I
Hmm.
think that that history is vital and universal because no one's going to tell it to us.
Yeah.
And
We have to write our own histories as well as our own futures.
and I like that you talked about like the table because I noticed all of our plays have a table there.
Yes, it's such
Yeah,
a
you know,
resounding
very Carrie
statement.
Mae Weaves. I lived.
Okay.
Because I was just kind of like, I think that this moment of like, even like the discourse that I see online about Black trans women, Black trans men, and our like dynamics, I was like, let's add something lighter. I think y'all gonna argue tomorrow. Let's laugh today. You
Yeah.
might probably argue on Saturday. Let's just laugh and enjoy this cute date today. Learn a little something, something.
Mm-hmm.
Have questions and like philosophical questions on what is trans girlhood. Did I get trans girlhood? Because I asked so many trans women I know. I'm like, when did you just already know you were a trans woman? How'd you know you became a woman? What about the girlhood part?
Mm.
And that's why I want to keep developing Clockett to a full length play because then everybody gets to
Okay.
ask that.
Okay. I think we all have our journal prompts for the night.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, and let's bring in Zarina.
Hi y'all. How are you?
Hi.
It's so nice to see all of you. I just imagined you in my head. I know Kineen previously because from New Orleans, so. And Mercedes, oh my God, hey baby. It was so lovely working on your play, all of your plays. So I had so much fun creating the music and the sound score.
The score for all of them is stellar. Like I literally felt like I like could like visualize so much hearing all these sounds. I like read everything over the weekend, but actually to hear it, to actually experience it, it added like 11 other layers to it. What was it like to design the sound for this? I'm really, really curious.
It was very fun. I basically just had some meetings with Lady Dane, and then we came up with a plan, and she told me what was going on. And then I talked to all of the girls. Everybody had like a thank you so much. Sorry, I'm at the airport. So all of the girls had a really good POV. So I felt like I was already hearing like the sounds in my head, like, you know, as I was like reading. And then, you know, like I produce scores outside of this, and I'm like a filmmaker. So, you know, I just applied those skills, and I previously made music for like a number of years. So I produced like beats and stuff like that. And this was, you know, a new venture for me because I score normally for films. But it was very fun to create, and my creative process like evolved.
Oh, really? Were there certain plays that really challenged you more than your usual stuff? I'm curious.
Yes, I think the more like staunch this sound is triggered at this time sort of play. So Jacob was like, I think more, you know, it was hard only because I couldn't do very much, but I was doing a lot of things that you probably can't like, you know, pinpoint to like bring the sound out by like,
I am not sorry about that. That felt like you. I will not apologize.
No, yeah. And I guess like I just added ambience and like, you know, room tone and, you know, these like silent things that like make those really intense moments a little bit more intense. So, you know, I felt like all of it could be considered challenging, but I feel like it was also very fun. So
yeah. What was it like to work on Kineen's work? There were very vivid, jarring.
This is the final boarding call for flight 1170 to Honolulu.
So I'm really curious what that was like. I like it. Wait, I hope that my accents were good.
Oh no! I know you like them. I know you all love them. I would hope so, but you know, I felt very proud of my work. No shame. So I guess like Kineen's was really fun because I made all of the sounds, like, you know, all of the little Foley that is for everyone's play. I made it live, and you know, Kineen's was very interesting because, you know, she wanted to create this like alternative world, and you know, I wanted to show like travel and like, you know, a soundscape. So I used water for a lot of the inspiration, and then, you know, a lot of the synths that I used, I like blend, like I would make something in a synth and then like put a filter over it, and you know, I had a lot of fun like changing the voices in it because I felt like I was trying to show like the passage of time, and then like when people, you know, kind of start seeing themselves, because I felt like the character at the end like starts to see herself, so she's like no longer kind of like viewing herself as this like strong character that's like her father, you know what I mean? She's like, I have in the cunt, and the cunt is inside of me. Sorry if I can't say that word.
You said it. It's out there. Okay. So, Kineen, how does it feel to hear that?
So, I was curious, like when I heard it, like the final piece, I was like, how did she get my voice to sound so high in certain parts? But I liked it, but I was like, how did you get the dragon to sound like that? I was like, was that a like manipulation of my voice, or was that like, did you add something? Like, I was wondering how you got Alicia's voice to sound high and low simultaneously. Like, I was actually curious about that.
Okay, so I did kind of do something very interesting where I like asked Lady Dane to send me a voice note, and so some of it has like, I made basically like a filter that is Lady Dane's voice, and then I pitched Lady Dane's voice up, and so I added that filter over the top of you know, the two tracks, and then I pitched up a track and I pitched down a track, and then I added like a chorus. So there's like, you know, this like trembling sound. Like I wanted the voice to sound like it could make
So
you
there's
tremble.
a mergence of a whole there's a mergence of two voices to make Alicia's voice. And some because I noticed at some points it does sound just like me, but then in some parts it sounds like two people, like it's two beings inside of one.
It is mainly just you. Like the filter I like calibrated from Lady Dane's voice.
Okay.
So because I asked Lady Dane to like do this like growly kind of like dragony sort of voice, and then I like made like a filter out of that. So I did split your voice into two. So that's what you're hearing.
Okay.
So you are hearing like your voice like doubled.
So it is like two tripled. Voices. Okay.
It's like three. It's like three.
Well, you are magical.
Oh my God,
you are magical.
You really are.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like I was like, wow, it really, like I really felt like I went in a portal, you know, like listening to it. I felt like I went into a portal. It was really, yeah.
And yours has a lot of sounds of the home, similar to Grant's. Mercedes, how did it feel to hear the finished piece?
So I have a secret. So I've heard a draft. Y'all, I started school recently. I'm getting my master's in social work, and literally when the plays dropped today, I was in class. So I haven't even heard like the final product, but hearing like one of the drafts of the final product already was like, ooh, it felt really like I wanted to capture home. I wanted to hear slippers sliding across the floor. I wanted to feel like I'm in the kitchen. I want to hear all the little happenings of like what's going on, like as you're passing the living room. And it felt like that to me. So yeah, with that being said, I am excited to hear the final product.
Okay. Well, girl, you get that master's, okay? You can listen to this right after. Garnet, I mean, I loved everybody's plays. Like, I don't have a favorite. Garnet, yours has a strong motif of thunder. Did you have a chance to listen to the finished piece?
I was able to listen to quite a bit of it earlier today while I was doing some other work. Thank you again, Zarina, for your work on that. Yeah.
Okay, lovely. And Zarina, I guess one last question I have for you is being the sound girl, a part of this cohort, what has it been like to be a part of this year's cohort, to work with Dane, to work with 5 lovely other budding artists? Yeah.
It was very fun, actually. Like, you know, I'm very grateful because I feel like all of the ladies had a very wonderful point of view. These were wonderfully written plays. I am a writer. I do screenplay writing, and I'm a filmmaker, so I know when something is really good, and all of these individually are good, but together it was amazing. And working with Lady Dane has been super fun because, like, she's such a great director. Like, you know, she knows exactly how to support her artists, and you know, I feel like she gave me all of the tools that I needed to get started because, like, I needed, like, you know, I asked for a lot. Like, you know, I was like, I need like a list, like I need the girls to go through their plays and give me like all of their sound triggers, just because I'm like really thorough. So, you know, I really wanted to make sure that these things were happening. And I don't think I could pick a favorite like play, but I feel like I really love them all. Like, I had so much fun working on them because you imagine I've like heard all of your plays multiple times. So but
you literally have.
Yeah, like I feel like I could, you know, recite some of your plays, and I just feel like it was very refreshing. You know, it was like so refreshing to hear, like, you know, these artists who have these like, you know, singular points of view. And I did not feel like anybody, like I couldn't read someone's play and be like, oh, this is just like her play, or
Yeah,
you all came from it from such a like stark, like like completely contrasting different place, and it was like humbling in certain senses, because I feel like the clock is always ticking. Like you never know how long something takes, especially like when I would be like, oh, I'll get this back to you in the morning, but like I'm a perfectionist, so I would be like, oh well, actually we're gonna sleep on that and I'm gonna redo that, because a lot of the stuff I was doing live, and then I like composed a theme song, like the song that you hear throughout, and then I had to like remix it 4 or 5 times, but it was all worth it, because I feel like I just love that you all have like a beautiful setting for your plays, and I want you to like go off with these and like get a coin, put this on your resume, mamas, you know what I mean, like get a grant with this, like
come on, Grant. Grant Evan. Okay, come on, Grant. I love that. Sorry, I'm corny. Okay, I've had so much fun chatting with everybody. Let's bring back Miss Lady Dane.
Hey everybody, hey. Thank y'all so much for a beautiful and lively conversation. Y'all are so brilliant. I know y'all personally, and we spent a lot of time together in person, but also, of course, with Zarina, lots of phone calls, texting back and forth as we were working. And I really do want to remind the world in this moment just how brilliant each of you are. And I said this earlier when we were about to hop on the call, just like I really look forward to seeing oh girl, why I'm about to cry. Girl, she always about to cry every time she got to give an inspirational speech. Y'all are creating work that I truly believe each of these pieces can live outside of this program. And also, I imagine, little Dane, when she was a little girl back in the hood in Baltimore, that if she had heard any of these plays, if she had seen any of these plays, how big of an inspiration they would have been to little me. So I really appreciate each of you for when I wanted to push you, when I wanted to invite you to really be all of you in this process, right? Because that is what we are interested in this program. You all did not run, right? You did not exist in fear. You were not only brave, but you were also all of you. And I think that is incredible. To everyone who is out there, listen, before I do the quick thank yous, if you have Black trans creatives in your life, if you have Black trans people in your life, I invite all of you to pour in to Black trans people and their brilliance. A liberated world can exist, but it cannot exist without us. We must be there. We must be there. And there are attempts at erasure. Some of our siblings are still encountering physical violence and harm. And it is important for us to not try to pretend that we don't need Black trans people, that we don't love Black trans people, and that Black liberation can exist without Black trans people, because it can't. And so if we really want a free world and a magical future, you must pour into the lives of Black trans people and our brilliance. Okay, I've said that. All right, so I look forward to seeing the comic books. I look forward to seeing the movies. I look forward to seeing the treatments for the short film versions of things, so you can get the, so we can get those grants, so we can, because I know I'm going to be directing. If y'all need an animator, we have Ripley Bennett. But thank y'all. Thank you so much to Cohort 6. And thank you so much to my little sister, Eva, who was a part of year 4. Thank you for stepping in and facilitating this amazing conversation. And I want to give a special thank you to Kate and to Jessica for being up all hours of the evening with me at certain times when we had to make this incredible work happen. Thank you to Chris DeBasey, who was our sound engineer this year. They did incredible work. I want to thank all of our actors, our amazing acting company. Some of those actors are even on this call. Hey, y'all. I want to give a special shout out to my good sister Giselle, hey girl, and TTO, as well as to George in Breaking the Binary, and of course to Jacob, who continues to show up, show out, and demonstrate what it looks like when a theater is truly invested in the lives of Black trans people. So, all right, y'all. So we've said the things. I've said the thank yous. All of y'all are fabulous. Thank y'all so much for tuning in and for rocking with us for 6 years. Come on, y'all. We got more to come. And also there is a link to the plays in the chat. So please do listen to these incredible works. Any of these plays could also be turned into an ongoing podcast as well. So if you're a producer out there and you're about that life, get on it. All right, y'all. Good night.